Tonight in Women's History, I had planned to talk to you about Sabine Schultz. You may not have heard her name. Sabine left us this week. She's 51 years old. She's from Germany. She is a woman that broke through in motorsports. She was considered the queen of the Nuremberg Ring. She was one of the greatest female motorsport drivers in the world. And she had an amazing personality. She was charismatic and she was giving and she was an amazingly skilled in a male-dominated sport. There is a very, very infamous or famous clip of her in the British version of Top Gear where she drives a Ford Transit van around the Nuremberg Ring in 10 minutes and 18 seconds. If you're like wondering to yourself if that's a good time or not, because I know we don't have a lot of motorsports fans in our audience, that is a stunning time, even if you were, say, in a race car and you moderately know what you're doing. 10:18 is the stuff of legends. And her story tragically ended, and tragically ended not in the way that a woman like Sabine would want, behind the wheel of a car in a tragic mishap. She died of cancer. That is who I wanted to talk about. But unfortunately, the events in Atlanta have me talking about a different person, a person whose name I'm not going to give tonight. There was a woman. This woman was a manager of mine. She was a vice president at a company that I worked at. She is still with us, and she is of Asian descent. And she is one of the greatest mentors and leaders I have ever had the privilege to work for. I would walk off a cliff for her tomorrow if I were one of her employees. If she said to me, David, I need to have you walk off this cliff, not because of blind loyalty, because I believe in her so much that there must be some valid reason she is asking me to plummet off of this cliff in the name of the corporation that we work for. That is truly how much respect I have for this individual. I lived in a world where I believed that people that passed as Asian did not experience the same level of racism. And I don't want to get into this rat-holy conversation of who has the worst cuts. But I really believed that people from the good minorities, as white people like to call them, did not experience this level of hatred, this level of racism. And the reports now are flooding out and the dam is broken. And my heart aches to think that this amazing woman, mother, business leader, she is brilliant, experiences this. And the reality is she has almost certainly experienced it and experienced it multiple times and beyond from microaggressions, but probably up to the slurs and the nasty things that people say, because that is sadly the nation that we live in. She was born here in this country. She went to an amazing college. She worked for everything that she has in her life. At the company I worked for, she was sometimes jokingly called Mom and Tiger Mom. And the mom was more complimentary because there was this characteristic in that you didn't want to disappoint her. And if she was disappointed, you would get dressed down like your mother was dressing you down. But I look in hindsight at some of the jokes in the conference rooms about, oh, she's going to go Tiger Mom on us. That was microaggressions. It was gross. It was horrible. And I sat in rooms and participated with people that made these comments and giggled at them. We all have our own work to do. I've admitted my flaws. I have said many times. I looked in the mirror in June and I said to myself, I am racist. And I felt weight come off of my shoulder. And I've done a hell of a lot since June of shutting up and listening and believing the voices around me. I am asking you to believe the voices of the Asian community who are screaming at the top of their lungs that they are experiencing the same violence, the same hatred, and the same racism that Black, Indigenous, and other persons of color's communities experience. Listen to them. We have to do better. There are so many people in this country that believe that after the end of Japanese internment, look how much better it is. People lump many Asians into the same categories that they lump Jews. Oh, they're good at math. They're good as doctors and lawyers and business leaders and computer programmers. But the hatred and the resentment of the "they took our jobs" crowd still exists. And people even as working as hard as I am, still wrestle with it to this day. Decades of fetishizing, mass media, and a message has been drilled into our collective minds, and it is wrong. And my heart breaks because this woman, who I will not name because I did not get her permission to talk about her tonight, is truly one of the most amazing people I have ever worked for. And it was an honor and a privilege to have served with her. And I will be forever grateful and forever in debt.